see, kind of doing a little duel this thing, right? So it's like exposing crabs. So I put that in there. So slide that in there. Got my card. It's like, all right, time to summon. I summon forth monster. Right? So you see, kind of lays out. So you can kind of do a custom thing. Hang on, what's that? Can you see it? Yeah. Right. So obviously you can do a custom duel this type thing. Right, so you have like the phone here, right, with the touchscreen capabilities, calculate all that good stuff, right? But then have a kind of traditional looking type of duel this. Ability to close things up. Obviously, I'm just playing around with this. Like, let's say I close this, right? Oops, I close it in. Take the card out. Close it in. No, that won't work. That won't work. I'll put it back on. Oops. But of course, like I said, originally you had it like that, but then it's like the rotation, and then you kind of try to like close it up. You get the idea. Try to close it up. So delete that forward a little bit. Close it up. It's back on. So let's do it this way. Okay, kind of went back on. See if I can try to rotate it. Rotate it that way. Oops. Put it back on. Rotate it the other way. Rotate it back. Obviously, it's not permanently stuck there. Try to rotate it back out. Get it back on. Alright. Try to do this thing back up. Bang. Do this. So slide in cards. Blah blah blah. Slide in. You get the idea. Just messing around. But I was watching some videos of some people making their own custom stuff. This is, what was this? It was a thumbnail that I saw. Let's see. Nintendo Switch custom duel this. So basically somebody strapped a Nintendo Switch to their wrist. And apparently that's the duel this. So that's what I'm looking at. See, I can show you what I'm looking at. So, just looking at a couple stuff here. As you can see, Nintendo Switch custom duel this. And then, so you see somebody put some straps. They put it into a case. So they put the straps onto the case and then put the Nintendo Switch in the Nintendo Switch case, and then they could put it on their wrist. So you see they're gonna strap it on, and now they have a duel disc, right? As it were. So now they have a Nintendo Switch on their wrist, and now they can play Duel Masters. Now they can play Yu-Gi-Oh! On the go. Which is funny, right? But you see over here we got a magnetic duel disc with a phone, version 2. So that's another video I'm gonna check out. Turn off the audio for now. So you see this is what they did. So I kind of saw this real quick and I was like, oh, let me, put some, put the cardboard on the clip thing. And it's like, oh, okay. Because the idea of like, you could put the cards out here if I were to, I don't know if you saw everything. Oops. Now you can have more of a traditional kind of like dual disc type of thing. We have the blade, is what they call it, the dual blade. So you can kind of custom make your own thing. Obviously, I'm trying to do something a lot less. I'm trying to make it where just this is enough, where the cards can be put onto the edges. So that way, all you need will be something like this, and then the cards can be put around there, so the cards will be sticking out, you know, from the dual disc, you know, as it were, on the other side, right? Sticking out, as opposed to the whole blade idea. Cards you rotate there, and then have an extension so that we can obviously, oops, put the cards on. So, see, this just makes it bigger. That's what she said. This just makes it a bigger space to play from. You see this guy video. Hopefully you can see it. Try to make sure you could see it. I'll try to leave the link to this video in the description so you can see the full video of what the person is doing. You know, some level of creativity out there. Obviously you can go check out the video yourself, so let's get back to the main. But it's just something, you know, toying around with the idea of like, that'd be cool if I could make it where like everything kind of condenses down. Like I said, you know, being able to rotate, be able to condense everything down to fit within the dimensions of this shape, right? The dimensions of a phone, the shape of a phone, but be able to, you know, turn and have extra stuff, you know, like this. You know, it's like goes flat and then goes like that, and then of course that's putting on that. And you have something similar to that, you know, where you can get some extra space. Maybe even make it where it extends, right? Or have it slightly like this, and then it rotates out. Oops, rotates out. So then it'd be something like that. And then have the other side, you know, kind of rotate out. Oops, something like that. So rotate side, so you have something like that. This itself could be the dual disc, like it could just be like that, as opposed to, you know, the whole rotating thing, and have it out here. But some people probably would like this configuration better than trying to do this. But to use them, you know, whatever works for it, right? But ultimately, I just wanted something nice and simple. Just make it where it's just basically just that, and that should be enough. Again, just enough to hold the cards, so that way they're not anywhere else. Basically, the idea is to kind of create a table that fits on your wrist, right? Essentially, because the way you play card games is usually on a table, right? So this is the kind of stuff that I'm looking into. This is kind of cool. Of course, he's using cardboard. You see, those are the holders, the slots, so you can slide in the cards, and the cards will be held. And what's cool about that is that slides. You can tell it slides out, slides in, and then so that's pretty cool. I'm not too surprised of that design, because doesn't that look familiar, guys? Y'all seen a lot of my older designs. Now he's using magnets in his design, so that's an interesting idea. Definitely inspired by that. It's like, ooh, yeah, magnets, of course. That's the way you can attach stuff. So you see, he puts on the phone. You got the graveyard, the extra deck, the deck. So that's the deck over there. I wouldn't be surprised if he saw my videos before, because this was put out in 2021. We all know a lot of these ideas are old. So yeah, he has magnets to put the stuff together. So he assembles all that with magnets. And you see he's using the phone and all that good stuff. So wouldn't be surprised if he saw my stuff before and then got the inspiration to do this, because obviously I've had these types of ideas before. So nice to see other people working on your own do this project, right? Instead of just me. Draw. That's cool. He's just using the phone for life points calculation. They really use magnets to attach the cards to the board. That's interesting. Magnetic sleeves, which is not impossible. Ooh, shit, it's not impossible to make magnetic sleeves. Ooh, that's inspiring an idea in my mind, but that's for something else. It's not that deep. No, it kind of is deep, because imagine making magnetic sleeves so that way you can attach the cards. I'm gonna work on that. I'm gonna let that marinate in my brain a little bit. You know, like, magnetic sleeves. I wish I had an example. Give me a second. I think I have an example. All right, so I'm back. So I found something. Found this on the refrigerator. This magnet. This is a magnetic plastic strip, whatever you want to call it. So it's a magnet. So imagine taking this, right, and then cut into small pieces, magnetic strips. Yeah, that's what it's called, magnetic strip. And cut them into small pieces and put them on a device, right? Put them on the duel list. So that way you have, let's put it like this. So then you have, you know, this will be like magnetic, and then yeah, I should have tested to see if this even works. Kind of does work. Yeah, it works a little bit. It just is a little bit of weight, it'll slide, but you see, this is a magnetic strip. This is just a metal bobby pin, which I attach to the card. So the idea is, instead of the card sleeves being magnetic, have metal sleeves, because magnetic sleeves would be kind of a bad idea because they're kind of attached, so it'd be hard to shuffle a deck. But a deck of metal sleeves, thin metal, not extremely thick, hard metal, but flexible, thin metal, like maybe metal foiling. Because think about, a lot of these cards have metal foiling, but I think it's aluminum. We need something kind of like iron or steel, which will be magnetic. So magnetic sleeves, where you could put the cards in, right? The back of the card will be metal, and then of course the front will be clear, so you can see the card, obviously, right? So the back will be metal, and I have like maybe a design or something, and then as you can see, hopefully try to make it stick there, and the magnet will obviously attract. So this is a way you can put, you know, cards into the thing. So that way it'd be something, that way it'd be like kind of upside down. This is not working out. It'd be kind of something like this. Let's see. Try to jerry rig something. Let's see if I can stick it there. So you get the idea. Stick it there, right? And then take the card, right? The metal card. I mean the card that's in the metal sleeves, and then you just be like, all right, time to put the card. Now it attached a little bit, it's falling off, but you get the idea. Is like be able to, you know, slide it in and just magnetically attach, and then you can just, you know, magnetically attach it to the other side, and it'll hold it, you know, hold it through magnets. So it's just an interesting idea. Like, oh, okay, instead of using like paper clips or some type of clamp system or something to try to slide the cards in and have it, you know, hold it. So instead of having it held mechanically, which was the initial idea, right? The whole idea of the clips, right? Clips on the board, hold it mechanically, right? We can hold it, you know, through magnetism, right? We can magnetically hold them. So that's an interesting idea. It's just from just watching a video, you know, just popped up the idea like, oh, the person's using magnets, and I was immediately thinking of, oh, this has sweat on it, so hot, and it's like, I remember, you know, it's like, oh yeah, I remember these refrigerator magnets, little magnetic strips, and you can buy them like on Amazon and stuff like that, and buy some magnetic strips, and like I said, put them on the board. I put them on the board on this, like, you know, on this side, on the back side, right? And all you would need is metal sleeves that, or at least metal on half of it, so that way it can just attach on either side, top and bottom, depending on what you need. The idea is based off of the space. Let's say this is the size of a Yu-Gi-Oh card. You see how it's going to take up that much space. This one's going to take up that much space. So the most you can put here is 2 cards. But you need a 5-card zone, right? So you can only put so many in that amount of space. But if you stack them, right, one on top of the other, that's where it's different. That's where being able to put 2 cards, right, on top, 2 cards on the bottom. I mean, well, ideally 3. See, these are, you know, standard size. It's a little bit bigger than Yu-Gi-Oh cards. So a smaller version of this will take up less space. So you can't put 3 cards at most on the bottom, just like you put 3 on the top, but you're only going to need to put 2, because 2 plus 3 is 5, right? Up here, and then over here, 1 card up here, 1 card on the bottom, one right, 1 on the bottom, 1 on the top. That right there's 2 zones, right? Zone top. So you get the idea. And then the same goes for that side, right? 2 monsters up here, and then 3 monsters under it. Again, it's just to hold, you know, what's most importantly, which is why it came down to this concept, what's most importantly is just being able to hold the cards, period. The positions, like where they at, is a little irrelevant as long as you can hold, you know, you can hold the cards. Because on the, let's say this is the phone, right? On here, you'll see all the monsters in the proper zones, and all spells and traps and field cards and all that other stuff will be on the phone, right? On the app. So all the proper stuff will be there, and that's what would matter, and that will transfer to the glasses that you wear, right? So it doesn't matter on the board, oops, where the cards are and whatnot. So it doesn't matter if you're stacking cards on top of each other into a specific spot. Just like if you had a spot where you could put 5 cards and stack like 5 cards. Just grab 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, exactly 5 cards, right? And just being able to stack them all into one zone, right? And then have it mounted. And just put, like, it's like, bam, there's all 5 monsters on one zone. So here's all the monsters I summon, and here's all the spells and traps that I have over here, as an example. Obviously we can do better, so that's why I like much better to set up. Obviously this is not necessary to stack all the monsters on top of each other, right? Oh, but that makes you think, when it comes to exceed summoning, you're literally stacking cards on top of each other. So how would exceed monsters work? Now granted, I didn't think about that before, because I just think about just trying to get at least 5 cards and at least get them to fit right into the dual disc, right? Shove it in there and just slide that one on top, right? And you get the idea. See, I got all 5 cards. Let me slide that in there, whatever. I was able to fit 5 cards in that space, right? By stacking them up, right? So you get the idea. But the thing is, when it comes to actually, you know, taking 2 cards, right, overlay, and then summon something on top of it, so now you have 3 cards trying to take up the same space, right, and trying to take up the same space on this. Yeah, that's gonna create a slight problem to a certain degree. I'll try to figure something out for that. I'm not gonna think about it right now, but it is something that I have to think about. Something to see, because synchro summoning, exceed summoning, link summoning, it's simple, right? You just take the materials off the board and throw them into the graveyard, and then summon a monster. So it's a replacement thing. But exceed summoning, you're literally stacking cards on top of each other. So, you know, the zones are designed for just holding 1 card at a time. Well, that's the initial idea anyway. So exceed summoning is going to be difficult in this configuration, but everything else will be the same, because everything else is just replacing monsters on the field with another monster. But exceed summoning requires you to stack, and that, you know, makes it a little bit complicated, right? You know, that's part of engineering, is coming up with solutions to some problems, and there are always going to be another problem popping on. You got to come up with a solution to that and just keep working at it until you solve every problem. Remember, put this back. Let's but you get the idea. So got some new inspirations. The idea of magnets and stuff would be interesting. I did kind of have the idea of magnets before. The idea of having it having an opening, which might help with the exceed summoning concept. Having magnets in the opening so that when you slide in the card, right, the magnet from the top and the magnet bottom will pinch together, right? So, you know, you put in the card, and then the magnets will pinch, and it will hold it because, you know, magnetic power. So there's that. A way it could work, like I said, if the sleeves is metal, right? If the sleeves are metal, like I said, they're metal, and you have a magnet up here, magnet up down here, but their strengths ain't too strong for them to come together. So that's why there's an opening. But once you put something in between, something metal, they'll attach to the metal, right? They'll attract to the metal, and then, you know, you have to apply force to get them to. You get the idea. To let go, so that way you pass something metal, boom, they'll clamp, and then you have to force it to make them unclamp, and then they'll be separated because not enough magnetic force to bring them back together. They'll be separated. They'll still be separated. So something like that. It's just thinking. That's the whole point. Before you do anything, you gotta think, right? You gotta solve as many problems as possible, and then start implementing your solutions and testing things out, trying things out. As you can see, I was just messing around with the idea of adding, you know, taking the concept of like making it where I make something that attaches, but then on the attachments, we have further more attachments. It can extend the capabilities and functionality of this device, so you can literally extend beyond the initial idea of having the cards around and be able to actually add extra components like a dual blade, like in this example, and get more space, more functionality. That's the thing, is trying to make the most out of the space that you're working with. Since I keep reducing the space, the area in which I'm building the design on, obviously that causes, the issues. Like I said, the exceed summoning mechanic, that adds an extra problem that I have to, resolve. So definitely something working on. I'll work on it more later. Right now I'm just trying to get the basics down, just trying to get something that I can, like I said, that I can mount. I want to be able to put some paper clips on this thing, mount it on, mount the phone on, and then try some stuff out. But the magnetic idea is, obviously interesting. There's potential there, being able to get some magnetic strips and then put them here, try to create some. All I need is just a couple of little, I need to find some metal material that I can make sleeves out of, where I can at least take regular sleeves and glue them in. Probably don't even need to do that. Yeah, I won't need to do that. All I would need is sleeves, and I just not double sleeve, but I'll just put the metal in the back of the Yu-Gi-Oh card in the sleeve. So basically metal strips, they don't even have to be big or anything. They can be small, thin metal strips, and slide them in behind the card inside the sleeve that already exists and go that route. See, so that's the process, one step at a time. So I got the idea of metal sleeves and then magnets onto the board that attaches to the wrist mounts, right? And the phone attaches to, attaches to it, and then be able to attach the cards magnetically, where you don't need to have specific spots or the idea is to try to get the cards to attach themselves to here and be held and be able to hold as many cards as the game requires is the goal. So right now I do like the magnetic idea. That would be more cost effective that way, instead of me trying to make 3D print something that has like little clips to pop up so that you could try to slide in cards and stuff like that. Just make it where it's just a big magnetic strip thing that's nice and sturdy, so that way you can just easily attach it just like that. Just literally slide it in, put the phone on top, and boom, there you go. Now you got a dual disc, right? Now you got the ability to attach cards, and then you just need some metal strips inside, metal what do they call it? Metal filling, metal not metal sleeves. Just pieces of metal, and just put them in the sleeves of the cards. That's definitely something I'll try to play around with later. Find me some metal strips, put them into sleeves and stuff, and then just use this magnet and just play around with it. Be like, bang. I just put it on, and it's like metal cards. The cards are attaching magnetically, as an example. But of course, I would still want something to kind of prevent them from like moving around. So I'll work on that later on, just one step at a time. Don't want to spend too much time just talking, and just hopping up brainstorm. So right now you kind of get in the idea of like how my thinking process, how I go from one idea to the next, and how I, the main thought process is the idea of lowering the cost, drastically reducing the cost of building something. Can't get, like just buying this thing alone, right? Get it, having something that's this simple shape, right? That you can literally just slide it in, right? Doesn't seem like that'd be expensive to manufacture, right? To build, and then just have it magnetic, and then, like I said, the sleeves and stuff. So that's the thing, just trying to lower the cost. One of the things I was thinking about is like, the main thing is that it would be cool to get to a point where it's like I don't need to like manufacture per se everything. Make it where it's like you just need to order some of the materials, right, some of the stuff, and then build it yourself. So being able to build a disc yourself, because I had a couple people a while back, and that was the thing was they were trying to, they were asking me, like, what are the materials, what do I need to build a disc, blah blah blah. And it was more about building it themselves as opposed to me build it and they buy it, as like a product. They wanted more like a project, like a do-it-yourself type of project thing. So it's like, that'd be cool, right? Like, yeah, because legally I can't sell the like all the augmented reality stuff per se, because I don't have the rights to the Yu-Gi-Oh characters, models, Blue Eyes, like Dark Razor shit. I don't have the rights to that stuff, obviously. But what I can do is for free, right? Free open source download of the software, right? The app or whatever. Obviously now it's going to be an app as opposed to a program. It'll be an app that you can download to your phone. So that way you can get it, because you have to get it after the fact, right? So you get all the parts, you get everything you need, put it all together, go online, download the APK file thing, and install the app, and then bang, there you go. Now you have everything you need, because I can't sell you the Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, right? Because I don't have the rights to that. But I can for free share, right? Sharing is different from selling. Share with you the the dual disc stuff, the app and whatnot. So the idea is to try to separate, because if I'm selling you something, I can only sell you what I have the rights to sell you, but I can't sell you what I don't have the rights to. But what I can do is share, right? Share what I can't sell. So I can sell and share things, and have those two things separate, and that's how you can get everything all together. Get everything you need is what I mean, legally anyway. Because again, I don't have the rights to Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff like that, but I can sell things like this, or at least I'll give you a link to where you could buy this, because obviously I didn't make this myself. It would be cool to make my own version, especially if it comes with extra features and stuff, so I can get like a manufacturer to manufacture a different version of this, maybe a much longer extended version that's a little bit longer, so I can have more space and put more stuff. But right now, this is good. This is definitely a good beginning, good start. And like I said, I could, get something like this 3D printed, so something with this shape and extra stuff, and maybe have it, like I said, magnets and stuff. That would be something I can get manufactured that I can sell, right? So I can have stuff like that. So there's stuff I can do, stuff that I can't do, obviously, legally. But that's just the idea. But the fact that, I could just like, all right, all you need is some cardboard, some magnetic strips that you can, and these things you can, you can buy or find. Like, for example, if you have something like this, refrigerator magnet where you don't need the refrigerator magnet no more, you can, this is obviously glued on, you can take some, like a knife or something, and take the magnetic strip off, cut it with scissors into little pieces, right? Super glue it, hot glue it onto a material like this and put it where it needs to be, and then bang, 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 you'll be able to magnetically connect stuff once you do the whole sleeve thing, and be able to make your own metal sleeves. So then, I can have a tutorial to make metal sleeves, tutorial how to make a magnetic board or magnetic whatever you want to call it. Maybe even a tutorial on how to make something similar to this. This you can, I bought it. Obviously, it makes life easier when you just buy something that's already pre-made. But the ability to potentially be able to create your own version, because there was a guy who made his own version of this thing. I just straight up bought this, but a version of this, and it'd probably be cheaper to make your own version than it is to just straight up buy it, because it cost me like $15 just for this fancy little thing where I could just attach my phone to it. But it was worth it, it just makes my life easier and more convenient, because it already exists. Why try to reinvent the wheel, as they say, right? It already exists. It already makes my life easier just to buy that. And then all I have to do, since I have cardboard, obviously I could just bang, create something that attaches, and then attach my phone. And then all I need is the ability to attach the cards to it. And then now I gotta do this. Something simple, not too good for the hood, as they say. And then, go that route. So this drastically lowers the cost of being able to produce the dual disc. And then of course customization, like I said, you can customize, right? I don't want to keep repeating myself over and over again, just showing the same stuff over and over again, right? Because it just makes this video longer for no reason. But you get the idea that it's like you can customize and create your own, design, your own thing. You can create and customize your own dual disc just by having a basic idea of something that functions, that works, and then just build upon it. And that's why I like watching these videos that people are making of their own dual discs, making their own custom stuff. Somebody took a Nintendo Switch and turned it into a dual disc. My initial idea, obviously inspired by the original dual disc Battle City version, but then I was like, I want it to be slimmer and more streamed down. And one day I was just talking to my friend, and I was looking at my PSP. Let's pretend it's my PSP. I was looking at my PSP. I'm like, and I put it on my wrist. I was like, man, and then put the cards on the sides and stuff, like that'd be a dual disc. And then touchscreen for calculating and for playing, for all the mechanic aspects of the game. It's like to be put in there. It's like, damn, so I just need something like a PSP that I can wear on my wrist, and that's where the DSP concept came from, Dueling System Portable instead of PlayStation Portable, right? So that's where the name DSP comes from, which is what this project is about. So so now I'm just just further streamlining, just like still using the same concept, right? The idea of taking something that looks like a PSP, right, which now it's a phone, and then put the cards around it. That's all it is. Same idea, just a different method to getting the end result, which is basically a wearable dual disc or table, whatever. I'm just trying to take a simple concept and trying to make it more advanced, but trying to go back to simple. That's the funny thing, is trying to make something more advanced than a table and a play mat, and right? By wearing, duel this, right? Wearing a dueling system on your wrist, but still trying to make it simple. So I'm trying to go back to the simplicity of being able to literally just have a board, which if you look at it, this kind of looks like just a table, like a brown table, right? And you just slide your cards in, right? And put your cards on the table that fits on your wrist. So it's essentially just a table on your wrist so you can play card games, right? Because card games are typically a table game. So taking something simple, making it more advanced, but then trying to simplify it among the advanced stuff, if you get what I'm saying. So it's just funny going simple to advanced and advanced back to simple, right? So, and I'll just end it here for now.